everybody, and welcome back to my channel. So we will start off with our homework we ended with last class, but I really wanted to say something real quick. So throughout our journey that we have been learning Python so far, I hope you guys are learning well and enjoying my lessons. Thank you for all those nice comments that you are giving me right now currently, and I hope you guys have been learning well, learning good, efficiently, and yeah, if there's any this or that parts, just tell me that I should clear up on. So that's all I wanted to say. Now let's move on to our actual class. So we ended Python arrays. Now we're on Python classes and objects. So Python classes and objects. Python is an object-oriented programming language. Almost everything in Python is an object with its properties and methods. A class is like an object constructor or a blueprint for creating objects. Create a class. To create a class, you use the keyword class. Create a class named myClass with a property named X. So here in this code it says class myClass, X equal to 5. So now we move on to, now we're going to learn to create an object. Now we can use a class named myClass to create object. An example, create an object named P1, then print the value of X. So P1 equal to myClass, print P1.x, the init function. The examples above and the objects in their simplest form are not really useful in real-life applications. To understand the meaning of classes, we have to understand the built-in init function. All classes have a function called init, which is always executed when the class is being initiated. Use the init function to assign values to object properties or other operations that are necessary to do when the object is being created. Class named person. Use init function to assign values for the name and age. We have it right here. It says class person, def, init, self, name, and age. Self.name equal to name, self.age equal to age. P1 equal to person, and then we have John, 36. Then print P1.name and P1.age. And it's going to print us John 36. Note is the init function is called automatically every time the class is being used to create a new object. The stir function. We all know that the stir function stands for string. So the stir function controls what should be returned when the class object is represented as a string. If the stir function is not set, the string representation of the object is returned. The string representation without the stir function. Class person def int self name and age self.name equal to name self.age equal to age P1 equal to person John 36. P1 print P1 the main person object at that. So it's not giving us an error, but it's not printing out the exact name we wanted to print out. But with the stir function, we have John brackets and then 36. Object methods. Objects can also contain methods. Methods in objects are functions that belong to the object. Let us create a method in the person class. An example, insert a function that prints a greeting and execute it on the P1 object. Note, the self parameter is a reference to the current instance of the class and is used to access variables that belong to the class. The self parameter. The self parameter is a reference to the current instance of the class, and it uses the access variable that belong to the class. It does not have to be named self. You can call it whatever you would like, but it has to be the first parameter of any function in the class. Use the words my silly objects and ABC instead of self. Def init my silly object name and age. My silly object dot name equal to name. My silly object dot age equal to age. Def my function ABC. Print hello, my name is ABC dot name. P1 equal to person John and 36. P1 dot my function. You can modify properties on an object like this. Set an age of P1 to 40 so you can delete the objects or the properties with the del keyword. The pass statement is going to be used to avoid an error, because if you have a class without any content, put the pass statement. Now let's move on to Python inheritance. Python inheritance. It allows us to define a class that inherits all the methods and properties from another class. Parent class is a class being inherited from also the base class. The child class is the class that inherits from another class, also called the diverted class. Create a parent class. Any class can be a parent class, so the syntax is the same as creating any other class. Create a class named person with the first name and the last name properties and a print name method. Create a child class. To create a child class that inherits the functionality from another class, set the parent class as a parameter when creating the child class. Note, the pass keyword, use the pass keyword when you do not want to add other properties or methods to the class. Now the student class has the same properties and methods as the person class. Add the init function. So far we have created a child class that inherits the properties and methods from its parent. We want to add the init function to the child class instead of the pass keyword. The init function is called automatically every time the class is being used to create a new object. Add the init function to the student class. When you add the init function, the child class will no longer inherit the parent's init function. The child's init function overrides the inheritance of the parent's init function. To keep the inheritance of the parent's init function, add a call to the parent's init function. Now we've successfully added the init function and kept the inheritance of the parent class, and we were ready to add functionality in the init function. The super function. Python also has a super function that will make the child class inherit all the methods and properties from its parent. By using the super function, you do not have to use the name of the parent element. It will automatically inherit the methods and the properties from its parent. In the example below, the year 2019 should be a variable and passed into the student class while creating student objects. To do so, add another parameter in the init function. Add a year parameter and pass the correct year when creating an object. Add methods. Add a method called welcome to the student class. If you add a method in the child class with the same name as a function in the parent class, the inheritance of the parent class method will be overridden. Python iterators. An iterator is an object that contains a countable number of values. An iterator is an object that can be iterated upon, meaning that you can traverse through all the values. Technically, in Python, an iterator is an object which implements the iterator protocol, which consists of methods of iter and next. Iterator versus iterable. List, tuple, dictionaries, and sets have iterable objects. They are iterable containers which you can get an iterator from. All these objects have an iter method, which is used to get the iterator. Even strings are iterable objects, and you can return an iterator. Strings are also iterable objects containing a sequence of characters. Looping through an iterator. You can use the for loop to iterate through the iterable objects. The for loop actually creates an iterator object and executes it to the next method for each loop. Create an iterator. To create an object/class as an iterator, you have to use the methods inner and next to your objects. As you learned in Python classes/objects chapter, all classes have a function called init, which allows you to do some initializing when the object is created. The inner method is similar. You can do operations, initializing, and etc., but must always return the iterated object itself. The next method also allows you to do operations and must return the next item in the sequence. The stop iteration. So an example above would continue forever. So they're talking about this example right here. If you had enough next statements, or if it was used in a for loop. To prevent an iteration from going forever, we can use stop iteration statement. In the next method, we can add the terminating condition to raise an error if the iteration is done a specified number of times. Also, as homework, I want you guys to do the inheritance exercise and the classes/objects exercise, and I want you guys to figure out what is Python polymorphism. So that's it for today. Thanks for watching. Also, if you haven't yet, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, like this video, and with the notification. Bye bye. Hope to see you in the next class.